Welcome back, everybody. This is the Vintage Sewing Machine Garage. And after pulling out this Singer 301A, which I have taken through the same restoration process I give to all my machines, I chose to make a series of videos on this one. Occasionally I like to kind of take a machine, highlight it, and kind of show you the different steps that I take to restoring it. And we have literally gone through all of the steps. And you have now seen me, there's nothing left to restore. This machine has been completely overhauled and gone through. It was sewing a good stitch beforehand, but like any vintage machine, it was waiting for its service. And so if you think, let's say you get one of these machines and you put some oil in it and it seems to sew okay, once it's been overhauled, you would not believe the difference. It is like, well, it's like going back in time, right? We basically have brought it back to the condition it would have been in mechanically in order to sew, not unlike when it was brand new. I know that's kind of an over-the-top statement, but it really is, because the machines technically, for the most part, most home vintage machines don't wear out. They just go years without service and they go dormant, they go asleep. And I spent a lot of hours going through the machines, giving them the service that they have been waiting for, and it makes such a difference. So this machine is getting ready to be posted. If you want to look back at any of the videos I've made, you can see virtually everything that was done to the machine. Now, one of the things I did that, and I've actually shown how this is done in a other prior video, so I didn't repeat that, but this machine had a button style foot pedal. But that button style foot pedal at some point in its life had gotten dropped and it was cracked, and I looked for a replacement and I wasn't pleased with what I had on hand in terms of a spare button style attachment. So I now have installed a brand new electronic foot pedal. One of the advantages to the electronic pedals, of course, is they give you slightly more speed control than you would get with the analog pedals. And about half of my customers prefer these, and then the other half prefer the traditional pedals. And they're not difficult to have wired up either way. So whoever purchases this will be getting a brand new foot pedal. So there's that. What else comes with this machine? This machine includes the original manual. Instructions for using the Singer Sewing Machine 301. And the instructions in these old manuals are wonderful because they're very thorough. You know, they have lots and lots of information on how to use the machine, how to take care of it. They don't just say go to the service center. They actually give you helpful hints. By the way, if any of you have this machine or any vintage machine, if you don't have the original manual, it's okay. Quite a few vintage machines have manuals online. You can purchase them and download them in PDF form. For Singers, virtually every Singer manual is free online. You can find them online, you can download them, you can print them off. You can even go to places like Etsy and eBay and find an original one if you're so inclined. But the point is, you should never have to go without a manual. Even if you're an experienced sewer, it's nice to have the manual if you are new to the machine. These machines are remarkably simple to learn, but I like having a manual when first time I get a hold of a machine, and it's makes things a lot simpler. The other thing that you will get if you are the purchaser of this 301 is a cradle. Now, I don't often get these because most 301s were sold in carrying cases. They were sold in what was called a trapezoid grass cloth case. Now, you can buy a case for this if you want. You can get them. They're available used. But this machine has its original cradle. It does not have a table, but it can be, first of all, you can sew with this right on top of any tabletop. It's tabletop ready. I'm going to sew on it right now. But if you decide you want to install your 301 in a table, you can, and you do it with the cradle. This is the only machine I'm aware of that Singer did this for. But what they did was they created a cradle that would be installed into a table, and it looks like this. And just like with the drip pans, I have removed the old felt, the oil drip felt, and replaced it with a new one. But the way this works is normally you would have holes in the back side of the bed of your machine, and of course the pins from the table fit there. Well, this machine doesn't have them because it was designed to be primarily portable. But Singer knew there were people who said, well, I really would like to sew in a machine, please. And so they provided this. So on the back, underneath, you will see little barrel set screws. These are just like the screws that hold, that you would screw into the machine itself if it had room for them. And here's the other one, of course. And you tighten these, and what you do is essentially you install or insert the cradle into your Singer table as you would a machine. And the cradle just sits there like a tray. It's very strong. It's very well supported. It's built like a tank. Even the trays are built well. And what you do is when you're ready to put your 301 in the table, you pull back on this lever. The machine drops right into the cradle, and then you put the lever back, and it is perfectly in there. It is installed in the table. It doesn't move. It doesn't wiggle. It's a great design. And then when you're ready, let's say you're ready to take your machine off to maybe a quilting, or you want to take it to a friend's house, you simply pull back on the lever and you remove the machine. It is really an ergonomically clever design. If you have a Singer featherweight, of course, they didn't build the cradle for the featherweight that I'm aware of. Featherweights were simply kept in their little carrying boxes. So again, this machine is larger than a featherweight, but still very portable. And as you can see, it has a handle on the top. Like the featherweight, the 301 was built with all high quality steel mechanicals construction. This is clearly an heirloom quality machine. But the body and chassis were cast aluminum. And they did that to reduce the weight. And they did the same thing on the Singer featherweight. And it's important to mention that if Singer had chosen to build this machine or the featherweight out of steel or iron, it would have cost them less. Building this out of cast aluminum was more expensive, but it was the only way that they could get the lighter weight. They did not trust plastic to hold up over time. I think they were right. So now that you have seen this, what else to mention? This machine also has a brand new electronic foot pedal. You can use either the original Singer foot pedal, but the one here that came with this machine, that pedal was not serviceable, and so I replaced it with an electronic version. About half my customers prefer one or the other, but whatever your preference is, they can easily be changed. They're not really difficult or challenging to switch out, but this pedal is brand new. Any electronic pedal that I would put on a machine, I always use new ones. And this is a very high quality one that I get from my supplier. So before the sun goes completely down, I will get to actually doing some sewing on this machine. I'm going to change the angle of the camera just a bit. Okay guys, I wanted to move the camera for you and maybe zoom in a little bit so you can see this, this heirloom quality machine doing its thing. See, maybe I can even zoom in just a little bit. And again, the Singer 301, like the 4 and 500 series that came behind it, is a slant shank machine. Tons of accessories available for these, and they're very inexpensive. And as you can see, I can sew slowly. You'll get a little bit more speed control with an electronic pedal, like I have here. Or of course, I can speed up the stitching speed, and of course, all it takes is one flip and you can back tack. And as soon as I finish here, guys, I'll pull this up. I want you to be able to see the stitches I make. I always test my machines out before offering them to a new owner. And let's see what else we can do. I want to come over here, and then I'm going to shorten the stitch length because there's something really wonderful about all of the Singer machines that have a rotary hook. And let's see here. Let's come up. I'm going to adjust I'll show you what I'm doing over here. I'm going to adjust my stitch length and come up and make it shorter. Singer machines that have rotary hooks, and primarily I'm referring to the 301, the featherweight, and the 201, they make incredible stitches, period. But the short stitch is especially remarkable. And you'll see that in just a moment if I can get this done before the sun goes down. and it's just a remarkably quiet machine. It has a sound just like every Slant-O-Matic has. Every machine and motor design will have its own unique sound, and you can tell when a machine is running properly in part by the sounds they make. They don't have computer brains to beep at you, but they have a way of speaking to you if you're willing to listen. Okay guys, I promised you a look at these stitches, and I want you to see the incredible quality that is the Singer 301, and any of you who have featherweights or 201s, you will recognize just the incredible quality of these stitches. I mean, it almost looks like a straight line, you know. The long stitch length is actually right here, and then the line above is of course those short stitches. They are so short and so compact, it looks like a straight line. It really does. Now we'll turn on the other side, and I'll show you. The top line is the long stitch. This one, of course, is the bottom thread. And then, if you look at the third line down, wait a minute, here we go. Yeah, the third line down, you will see those short stitches. This is a stitch that is thought of in almost an artisanal sense. I know that sounds a bit much, but I learned what a good stitch should look like from some of my first clients. The first people I ever restored machines for were quilters, and they have very, very particular standards for how their stitches look. Not saying that the rest of you don't also have that, but for quilters, stitch quality is especially critical, as it would be for anyone who might sew, oh, I don't know, a wedding gown or a couture gown, because people go up and look very closely at those stitches. So there you have it, guys, the last in a very long series of videos, but I wanted you to see this machine so I can take this and fold it over like I've done with other machines, and it'll sew right through it. You can sew heavier material than, you can sew light and medium weight cottons, but you can sew heavier stuff. But this machine, along with the featherweight and the 201, they really shine in garment weight fabrics. They create a stitch that I've honestly never seen in any other machine. The Berninas make gorgeous stitches, so do the Viking Husqvarnas. I think all machines do. My personal machine is not any of these because I don't need that kind of artisanal stitch. But that kind of straight stitch on a machine that has no computer and no laser of any kind, I think is just pretty incredible, if I do say so myself. But thank you all for watching. I don't know if any of you have watched all of the videos that covered this machine from beginning to end. And again, I can't do this for every machine I restore. I now do an introductory video talking about the machine when I get them. And I always try to do at least one video like this, showing the machine in its finished state, ready to make stitches. But this is one that I actually took all of you through the processes that I use. And I just thought that might be helpful for those of you who either have a 301 or maybe you just want to get into making your own overhauling sewing machines yourself. And so there you go, guys, just under the wire here before the sun finally goes down. But it's a fitting end to a process of giving these machines the service they were due. And I just think it's pretty amazing that something that is 70 years old, now that it's gotten the service, it just produces the most incredible stitch. And I don't think we'll be able to say that about most of the plastic imposter machines that are out there today. I may be wrong. But anyway, if you see this machine and would like to arrange a time to come and sew on it or have me demonstrate it for you, please contact me through the listing. And for those of you who have one or just want to discuss the Singer 301 or any other machine, feel free to share your comments and your experiences with these. And we will see you in the next series for sewing machine restoration. I don't know what it's going to be yet, but I know I have other videos that I have promised that are still under development. So hang in there with me, guys. And I appreciate you watching so much, and we will see you next time.